Hello and welcome. I'm here today with something that I'd like to turn into a bit of a series on this channel is to invite people who I know have started a urine therapy practice at some point and have an interesting story or a different way of looking at it than I do, perhaps. And today I'm really pleased to welcome someone who I met back in 2002. And
22.
no, sorry, at 22, oops, 2022. And when we had talked at the time, I was talking about Shivambu, and so you were part of a group where I was talking about it, and multiple people were trying it. And at one point, you told me about what had happened when you started to use it, and I was so thrilled that you told me because you were so clear about the difference, what it had brought, and you were excited about it too, which made me excited. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, just say a little bit about what you do, why you're interested in holistic health, and
Mhm.
then we'll talk about the Shivambu part.
Awesome. That sounds great. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you. And a little comment to start. I have my one of my dogs in here with me who might make noise. So I
Sure, no
think she
problem.
will. Yeah, so I am a mental health clinician in the US and have been for um 13 years. I've been doing the work and meeting with clients. And then for 10 years, I've been on my own doing a solo practice, which has been really wonderful. And I love my job and I love the opportunities that it provides for me in terms of learning and growing myself. And in terms of holistic health, I mean, that's always been a strong interest of mine going back to actually when I was a kid. I can remember um, being a self-driven, healthy kind of 11-year-old out trying to teach myself how to jog with my dog, which is so weird to think about. Like I was 11. Um, I think I was very aware of the relief that physical movement
Mm,
provided my body, having been a very high strung kid, but all on the inside. I don't
mm,
think anyone would have noticed on the outside, but a very jangly feeling on the inside pretty much always. So moving around helped me a huge amount, but I never really wanted to do that with other people. So this idea of solo health appealed to me. And then I had a pretty significant health crisis when I was 15 that put me in the hospital for a couple weeks. And it was a very, very pivotal time for me. And coming out of that has required a lifetime of being very aware of my body. And whether I like it or not, I have to be quite careful. The choices that I make are they matter for me. So um, that I think has because of my own need to, and desire to feel good. I have a very low tolerance for feeling badly.
mm.
Like even a little headache really drives me crazy. So I have a pretty high expectations for how I feel in my body, and they require me to always be looking and searching and finding things that work, and things that ultimately haven't worked for me.
And so,
So,
so things
yeah,
that do work, then
yeah,
you give a high priority and you're willing to incorporate them.
absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, when I find something that works for me, I am beyond thrilled, especially if it's, you know, inexpensive and accessible. Those are
Right.
the two things, right, that I prioritize because I have a complicated life as a caregiver to my kids in addition to my job. I don't have much time for myself. So I have to find things that are, yeah, like I said, inexpensive and accessible. Um,
And so back in 2022,
yeah.
what was it that got you to start with Shivambu? And how did you start? Was it topical or did you try drinking? What happened there?
Well, I think because of the how many decades before that I have been curious about health and wellness and willing to try all sorts of things, I went straight to drinking it. I
Okay.
mean, I did not mess around. I heard, and I still, I still remember where, it's so weird. I still remember exactly where I was located geographically when I heard the podcast,
Hmm.
introduced it with our shared, the person that we met with, and I stopped. I was on a walk and I like stopped walking. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that type of thing doesn't happen to me very often. It's not like I'm walking around getting these like hits from the universe every day. It was just a very clear boom. I have to do this.
Hmm.
And I didn't even know what it was all the way yet. I mean, it was literally like a third of the way into the conversation. And I was like, whatever, like I've got to do it. And that freaked me right out because, I'm yeah, closeted as
Hmm.
a biohacker person. So um, I have to hide this from everyone I know, including my family. Um, so it was complicated for me because I felt like, oh, heck yeah, this is happening. The the hard part was figuring out how. Yeah,
Hopefully, I remember that podcast. So I'm like, there was quite a bit of, how do you do it? Why do you do it? What do you need? That sort of thing. So there was some instruction, but
totally. Yeah.
it it's also still just a podcast. It's not like talking to someone. It's not the same as having a consult or that sort of thing and working with it. So what did you end up doing, and what did you notice?
Well, I mean, I think initially, and it's so funny, Megan, I remember this morning that I did a video of myself talking about this at that point. So I have that somewhere.
Amazing.
Uh-huh. So I'll have to dig that up. But I remember wanting to capture this moment. And this was a couple days after I'd heard that podcast, and this idea would not leave me alone. It was like I was having an argument with it, right? Like, no, I don't want to do it. No, you have to do it. No, I don't want it. Yes, you do. Yeah, da, da, da. And so I, yeah, anyway, what did I do? I ended up peeing in a cup in the bathroom and like sticking my finger in it. And that was it. That was it. Like, that was step one. Just pee in a cup. What's that like? I mean, I'd only done it in the doctor's office,
Mm.
right? For testing or whatever. So I peed in a cup, put my finger in it. Okay. I'm not dead.
Yep.
I think the next one was like put my finger in it and then like touch it to my face and see what happens. Oh, nothing happened. Very much just getting used to this idea of looking at it and knowing it. I don't know. I remember just being like, oh, just get it over with already.
Hmm.
Yeah, just like do it. It was very much like I have to drink this. I'm not just going to be like swirling it around with my finger. I am going to be drinking this. And I just did it and it was fine. I think I just drank a whole cup. And then I just started, what I later learned was looping.
Hmm.
I didn't even know that that was a thing, but my body was just like, oh yeah, no, we're going to keep doing this all day. And so I would do, I don't know, 6, 7 times a day.
Yeah.
And my body just detoxed. Like I went through that whole process, and I remember hearing um, Kate talk about the what did she say, the human pipe cleaner?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just cleared out.
Yeah.
Like it was like a colonoscopy prep. Like I was just
Mm.
like clearing out, clearing out. Um, and
A
I
lot. So
just
if people are wondering, a lot of people who start will get some sort of clearing out of the intestine.
yeah,
And
like a GI,
yeah,
yeah, like a
so it might be
cleanse.
diarrhea, it might just be loose, it might, but a lot of people get that. It's almost like it's just a wash. It's just
Yes,
like the urine just starts washing.
yes, that's what it felt like. It very much. again, I was pretty early to this concept, but whatever it felt like for my body was it felt like this is a good thing.
Mm,
And I felt, I guess that, and that's more of what we, were talking about earlier is this nervous system reset. Being a naturally kind of revved person, I'm accustomed to feeling the buzziness of fear in my body. And I don't always know what it's there for. I have to go in and become a detective and be like, are you nervous about this? Are you nervous about that? Is
right.
it this? Is it that? Is it this? And I'm like, no, 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 no. So I'm used to doing this kind of checklist around my mental health on a regular basis. Because of these just you know it's gotten a lot, well, anyway, I get off topic on that, but what I noticed during this process um, was that my body felt really calm.
Mm,
I just kept waiting to die. Like, what did I, am I poisoning myself somehow? Like, what is happening? And nothing bad was happening. And instead, all sorts of good things were happening, all sorts of them. And so this is the thing I don't think I've mentioned to you before, but because of my anxiety, I throughout my life and found alcohol to be very calming.
mm,
Not too much, and but like a glass of wine, I was that person.
mhm,
Glass of wine, glass of wine. But every night, glass of wine. Now that did not jive very well with my physical needs. It would led to a lot of dysbiosis. And I was constantly frustrated with this tension point between how do I feel calm in my body while also taking care of my body.
right.
And so when this happened, when I started doing the urine therapy, like I dropped the wine
Wow.
completely. Like, I mean, it was just like I traded one drink for another, and the replacement was exponentially a better feeling. And I never started back. Like I never went back. Like it was just a complete. So that wasn't even something I was looking to do. I was just like always feeling kind of ashamed, like, "Ugh, really shouldn't be drinking a glass of wine every day with my current health goals and who I am and what I'm interested in. This is a real like bummer for me."
Hmm.
And then that just fell to the side.
Mm,
And I think that was at the time the most remarkable byproduct
mhm.
because I was still, thinking I was gonna have that glass of wine. I didn't want it. I didn't want it. Didn't my body was feeling good. I didn't even think about it. It was like it was gone, erased from my consciousness.
Mm,
Bizarre.
yeah.
No effort. So that is also for me a link to it, is that it completely erases my niggling desire, or it's not even a desire, it's like my nervous system wanting some relief.
Mm,
Nope, don't need it.
that thing has been calmed, as you
It's
said,
been
like that.
calmed.
Yeah.
Whatever that little link or that like little piece of machinery or whatever it is, it's been reconnected to the system.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting. And
Yeah.
I feel sad for people who are in that, again, that push pull,
Hmm.
um, because I feel like, especially with wine, it's like it's sold as an elixir of sorts to women,
Mm.
um, in the marketing, and I feel like, well, just drink your pee instead. It's really it's a great trade out, believe me, right? But I keep
Yeah.
my thoughts to myself. It's
It's a hard one to introduce sometimes. So this is I love hearing that. I'm so glad to hear the other piece because when we've had first talked about this back in 2022, what I remembered was you being like, my nervous system just regulated. It just calmed down in a way I was not expecting. But you also just mentioned like a lot of good things happen. So one of those obviously is then the wine just fell
yep,
away.
yep,
And this is a lot of people, a lot of other people have come to me and they've said, whatever it was that they had struggled with in some way, and whether it was food or it was a drink or whether it was something like that. A lot, like some people it was coffee, some people it was chocolate, some people it was whatever. But it was the point is that they were struggling. There was a struggle of some kind,
Yeah,
and that struggle just disappeared.
yeah,
And so it's not that it's about wine, it's about the struggle.
exactly.
And
Well,
that's
because
interesting.
struggle, I mean, right? The struggle is often linked to something that our body is getting, that it's a maladaptive strategy, right? But we need the strategy. We just need a more adaptive one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, for me, yeah, it was very much yeah,
Mm.
nervous
Well,
system was,
and that points to the, yeah, the what practitioners say over and over again is that Shivambu is well, it's adaptive because it's us.
yes, exactly. Right. It has that bio individuality component. It's just going to go where you need it to go, even if you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's going to find it for you. Like, again, you don't have to think about it, which I
Mm.
love. You don't have to know. You don't have to know the answer. You just have to be open to seeing what will happen.
Yeah. We were both saying that we're head people, like
Yeah.
researchers,
Yeah.
very potentially could have be labeled by some people as type A in certain circumstances,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah.
But you were saying a little bit about how this you don't Shivambu is not like that for you as a practice.
Yeah. I mean, it is really body driven.
Mm.
I will, um, again, it's not like this happens in every area of my life where I'm just that person who's like holding the bottle and, oh, I'm leaning into the bottle. That means I need whatever's in the bottle. Like I'm not doing muscle testing all the time or whatever. I'm just with this, it's such a one, it's incredibly private. I don't talk about it. Um, I don't I don't bring it up ever. So it's a very quiet personal practice. And every day, or, I'll forget about it I mean, I don't know that I did it much over this past winter. Um, but then I knew when I needed to restart and I
Mm.
did. And then I was like, great. Like it's something that because of the nature of how often you're peeing during the day, I feel like my body just can tell me when it's time.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I will say I'm always reminded after, like, holy cow, this is so powerful for me. And I can't say that it would be for everybody, but for my body, for whatever I've been through in my life, this holds something really medicinal for me.
Mm. You had mentioned that there were lots of good things that you would associate with having started this practice. What are some of the other ones?
Gut health.
Mm.
Um, I mean, for me, because of the nature of the health crisis when I was a teenager, um, I was essentially, pumped with antibiotics. Ended up with various infections and side effects of the antibiotic use, excuse me. Um, so my gut health has always been a thing, and candida has always been a thing. Um, And I've gone through periods in my life where I have chronic yeast infections. And then I've gone through periods in my life where I don't have any. And sometimes it depends on what I'm eating and drinking, but most of the time it depends on my stress.
Mm.
And because of my parenting experiences and my job, and stress is something that's never too far away. I have to really be diligent about trying not to let it overtake me. And so I think what I also noticed was that I no longer needed to be eating probiotics as often. Like I'm
Ah.
typically, like gobbling probiotic capsules every day. I didn't have to be quite as militant about that
Mm.
because I slipped on and didn't have any negative side effect to that. So that was one of the things that I noticed, which felt incredibly freeing. And then another was skin. So when I met you, I had had almost 4 years, actually, yes, I had started healing pretty well by the time I met you. But sorry, my dog is tapping behind me. But
Mhm.
so one of the issues that I was having was chronic skin, um, almost like blistering
Mm.
on my vaginal skin that was, I mean, as you can imagine, incredibly painful. Um, and it was just kind of a 4 years of dermatologists and gynecologists and everybody just being like, we don't know what this is. And so I had gone through a lot in those 4 years prior to finding this practice. And I was literally ready to do anything that would help me remain healthy on
Mm.
my skin. So my skin um, has been has done really, really well.
Mm.
So I've been relatively asymptomatic in regards to the that whatever that blistering. I also had to, remove gluten and do a couple other things, but I feel like the practice of urine therapy, like I can put it on my skin topically and it's very soothing. So um that's another way that I've seen it help me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that was just for people who may have something similar. I know that I've had multiple clients, multiple women with various variations of what you're
Yeah.
describing. And one of the things that I've recommended to people is a sitz bath,
Yes.
which is you can put any amount in a little container that either you sit in the container and like inside you can put the container in the bathtub or the bottom of the shower and then sit in the container. Or if that doesn't quite work, then you can also soak a face cloth or some other soft material in the urine and just put that exactly where you need it and sit on that for a while you read a book or you listen to a
Totally.
podcast or like it's not a big deal sort of thing. Would you add anything to that?
Um, no, I mean I've done both those. I in my home, so I have a couple kids and I won't go for their own privacy. I won't talk much, but one of my children is pretty open to this. The other one
Mm.
had literally a panic attack when I brought it up, so I don't that was a mistake. But so we in our house, and this is again, this could be, I'm sure it's considered gross in a lot of homes, but we pee in the tub.
Yep.
So he pees in the tub when he gets in, and that helps because he has eczema.
Mm.
So that's another way that we do it.
Any
I
almost every baby does it anyway, right? Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, we just normalize it. It's just, and again, this is all just quiet and private,
Mm.
and it's not like we talk about it the rest of the family, but it's something that he has always done. We're all, the last 4 years anyway.
Yeah.
Um, because when he found out that I was letting him do it, he was psyched. He was like, wait, really? Because he's certainly grown out of the baby phase.
Yeah.
So so that to me, in my mind, that adds a little extra measure of support
Mm.
to soaking that he's getting in the tub. And he,
Yeah.
because of his skin and because he's my child, he's going to have certain vulnerabilities in
Mhm.
regards to his immune system. Um, so that is another one. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's obviously it's pretty, you can pee on a cloth and put the cloth anywhere,
Yeah.
kind of my thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of, again, you were talking about like something that is low cost
Yeah.
and very effective. And also in this case, it's very portable, right? So it's like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
matter where you go, no matter who you are, if you
Yeah.
need, if you have a
Yes.
burn, if you have eczema, if you have whatever it is, you can take a piece of material
Oh,
or
yeah.
a Kleenex, or I mean, they're a little bit flimsy.
Cotton balls.
Um,
I mean,
yeah,
I've done, if I have a little spot on my face or, I'll just dab a cotton ball in and hold it on the spot.
yeah. exactly.
Um, I had rashes around my eyes for a while randomly, and I was doing that with little
Mm.
cotton round.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, it's not like, oh, and then the next day the rash is gone. It's for me, it's more like this is just one more measure that I implement, in addition to making sure my diet is super healthy and clean and drinking tons of water and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And part of what I'd like, and like talking to you, there's a multiple other people who I met around the same time who I'm going to try to do similar sort of discussions. They'll have little chats
Totally.
and just check in and say, you learned about this 4 or 5 years ago. What have you
Yeah.
done? What
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
benefit? Um, and it is sort of talking to people about their private
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm really thrilled that you were willing to do this with me, and it's been so nice to talk to you anyway. Just and we anyway a little chat before and to connect again. Is there anything else that you wanted to share before we wrap up this call?
Trying to think. I guess I keep wanting to make a plug for it, for people who have a hard time feeling grounded.
Mm,
I feel like this is I would I would put this under a grounding practice in my life. And I'm not very motivated to do a lot of other things.
mm,
Excuse me, because they don't have as much of an impact as quickly. Um, I would argue this is even faster than taking a Xanax, which I
mm,
don't do. But I will often think, oh, I just wish I could just get a quick, calm. And this is the answer for me. And I love that it returns me to a baseline that allows me to be very clear-headed and calm with such little effort.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, and the thing I guess I would add as well for anybody who hasn't tried it, who's feeling that like, I just keep feeling like I need to try this, but I don't want to try this. So how do you try this? I mean, I um found that the easier time for me was later in the day when I had been drinking a bunch of water throughout the day. The it's for me anyway, completely flavorless,
Yeah.
no odor really at all. It just feels like water and
Yeah.
tastes like water. And I drink a lot of water. So for me, it was easy to do in the shower when I'm already in the water. I have just a cup of other water that I'm, drinking while I'm washing my body. And it just felt very water friendly. And that
Mm,
was my entry point.
okay.
And that felt very safe at the time because there's something in my mind about like, well, if something happens or if I don't like it, like I can
Mhm.
easily rinse out my mouth very quickly with water and I am safe here. So that was a very safe for me way of starting and just maybe a sip or two and then whew, oh my gosh, am I okay? Right? Excuse me. And then it was only after I became pretty like confident that I'm okay doing this and this is actually really beneficial for me that I started being a lot more laissez-faire about
Mm.
how. And at this point, 4 years later, right, I'm just like, I just have to remind myself, shut the door of the bathroom, right? Because anyone looking in is just going to be like, oh my God, what are you doing? Because I'm so comfortable with it at this point.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. But I realize that someone who hasn't ever tried it or doesn't really know much about it, that can be like, okay, well, I'm definitely not there.
Yeah.
Like, well, I didn't start there.
No, but that's a good point too. We forget, like we understand that the taboo is still there socially,
Yes.
but
Yes.
because the disgust and the taboo is gone in our
Yes.
system, we have no check.
Yeah. Yes, I have to be very
Yeah.
conscientious, especially living in a family of people who find this practice abhorrent, right? Like, um, I so just really funny story. I was so pumped about this when I figured out what it was doing for me that I made an announcement in my kitchen for my family. I was like, gather around, everyone. I have an announcement. And I announced it. I'm drinking my urine. And I literally saw my family double over and almost faint.
Oh
And
no.
I was like, I didn't, and you can't take it back. Like
No.
once you make that announcement, like you are in it. And because I'm the emotional caregiver for my family, I instantly had to switch gears into, I'm so sorry. I didn't know how this would land. My bad. No, no, no. You don't need to think about this ever again. I will never bring this up again. You're okay. I'm okay. We're okay. Like I just
Oh,
switch really fast. So I really have to be careful because my kids are, I would say, and my partner too, like very sensitive. And we're hanging out on the autism spectrum side of things here in my house. So like there's a lot of um peculiar needs and refusals about certain thoughts and like don't say that, right? Like
mm,
rigid thinking. So anyway, I had to work for quite a long time to like reverse that.
mm.
And that was helpful for me in knowing like this can really cripple certain people. This idea is
Yeah.
is very like it almost like breaks their brain
Hmm.
uh, that some people do this. So that's why I never bring it up. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And hopefully in the future,
yeah.
if, there will be a point where it
Yeah,
won't be ingrained as a taboo in people so early. It will not be part of the conditioning because it's just conditioning,
exactly.
right? Because
Right.
we're all in
Other
the womb.
cultures, right? Yeah, exactly. It's all sorts of conditioning, right,
Yeah.
that we deal with. And so um I often question my own self, like, how are you so comfortable with this? But it's like, I think again, I continually come back to my desperation really throughout my
Mm,
life to feel good. And I am, I would probably try just about anything
yeah.
at this point. I mean, I'm almost 50. So I've been at this a long time. And so I think the barriers are pretty low for me. Whereas other folks who may not need help to feel good, I can
Mm,
see why they wouldn't really be interested. It's like, well, it must be nice.
hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so many people come to urine therapy because they are at that
Yeah,
point of, I've tried all these other things. Why not?
exactly. That's exactly right.
You know?
That was it. Um and
Yeah.
I'm grateful actually, that I have had to pound the pavement to find things because I feel like that's my role in life is like a
Mm,
conduit to introduce other things to people who may not have to fight as hard as I've had to feel
yeah.
good. So I can say, you know what, this is something that actually is worth it. And here's
Mm,
another thing that's actually worth it. And I look forward to the day when I can talk more openly about this practice and introduce it to people. I think I've mentioned it to a couple clients and no longer have said clients. So yeah, yep.
well,
Yep.
I love where we've started this. I'm so glad to have you on as one of my sort of first, like, yeah, as I said, like little chats. And I'd love to have you again in the future
Love
to
to.
talk about this more because I also love the point of view that you bring as a practitioner and clinician in that sense in your own work. So thank you so much for being here and
Megan.
look forward to the next conversation.
That sounds awesome. Look forward to it. Thanks for doing this work.
Wonderful. Bye bye.